Yeah, I'm Scott Shreffler. I am a regional brewery rep for Schlafly Beer, and this is my beer cellar. Probably started in about 2008 with my first trip to Dark Lord Day. Before that, I didn't really know much about cellaring beer or really have anything worth cellaring, but you know, I got 6 bottles, I think, and so that kind of started it. And honestly, what that did is it got me into trading. You know, all of a sudden I had something that people from all over the country wanted, and there was things that I couldn't get here that I could use the Dark Lord to trade for and get to try. You know, the first time I tried Pliny the Elder was from one of those trades, so that was probably the first time I started cellaring beer. You know, we have access to breweries like Bell's and Founders and Three Floyds and Schlafly and New Albanian that people on the West Coast can't get. So the way we feel about Russian River and AleSmith and breweries like that, they feel about the breweries that we can get every day. So use those to your advantage. You know, if there's something, you know, whether it's Dreadnought, you know, that you can get on the shelf all the time, you kind of take advantage of it. Somebody in California would love to have that. I've cataloged a little bit. There's a website called Cellar HQ, I think that's what it's called. And I set it up and it worked for like a month, you know, and I would delete what I drank and I'd add what I had, and it just got to be too much. You know, I know better what's down here just by coming down here, you know.
It's hard to keep up with stuff.
It is. This is my zen place, so I'll just kind of come down here sometimes and just, you know, look at things. So it's pretty well cataloged up in my head.
Right.
You know, I stay away from hoppy beers for the most part. I try and do high alcohols, Belgians, imperial stouts, or sours. You know, things with, like, you know, Brett beers that will keep evolving over time. So if I stick to those kind of ground rules, then I usually, to me, I think that 5 years is kind of the boundary. Like, I don't really know that, I've never had a beer over 5 years old that's better after that 5 years. So as long as I'm underneath that line, I'm pretty good. So I don't really know, you know, I don't really have a system to figure out when they're prime. So the beer down here that I'm probably most excited to open would be this. I have a friend down in Nashville who's a home brewer. He makes mostly sours and Brett beers. So he gave me a bottle of this. It's his C&C Brett Factory. So it's a pale ale with 100% Brettanomyces fermentation and 100% Citra hops. So he said that it should be carbonated and ready to go by the end of this month. So very excited.
So I'll be back then.
Yes, yeah. So his name's Brandon Jones, and he actually has his own shelf down here because he's been very generous to me sharing his beers, and I think he's stellar. Like, somebody needs to give this guy some money,
right,
and let him do a production brewery because he's that good. There's things down here that I haven't necessarily forgotten about, but they're not up in the fridge, they're not ready to drink, so it's definitely a process. I do a lot of tastings, well, I would say maybe 2 to 3 per year. They kind of started when my collection was a lot smaller at the beginning with, I'll open 10 beers, everybody bring a beer or two, and we'll have a bunch. They've kind of evolved as the cellar has gotten bigger and almost unmanageable, although I know that it's not nearly as big as some, but it's evolved into just come over and let's drink my beer. So a lot of them will get open then. You know, friends come into town. You know, we have a movie night out on the back porch. You know, we'll open some stuff. So
cool.
Probably the most expensive beer down here. It's kind of tough to tell. A lot of these I did trade for, and a lot of them are, well, not a lot of them, but a few of them are brewery only releases, and so I don't know what somebody paid for them, but my guess would be it's the brewery Black Tuesday. It's their Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. It's only available once a year. I believe you have to be a member of their Provisions Club in order to buy it. So I traded for this, so I don't know the value 100%, but I can guess that it's as much, if not more, than anything else in the cellar. So yeah, one thing, you know, this is a great space, and it's it's a lot of fun to have, but it wouldn't really be possible without my wife. When I was gone for a week to Bonnaroo with work, and you know, she came in here and cleaned everything up, and so I got back and we kind of reorganized the shelves, and there was a bunch of bare shelves, and she said, you know, these need to be filled with beer. So, you know, behind every good beer man is an understanding and loving woman. So, a very understanding woman.